Man, it is a beautiful day for cruising the Z06. Oops, we can't. It's broken. I know it's been a couple months since I've had this car on the channel, but if you guys don't know this channel by now, you know, I got a lot on my plate kind of all the time, doing the 69 Camaro, the CTSV, mini project under the cover there. I'm busy. So the Z06 has been kind of on the back burner, but anyways, I was driving it a month or so ago in the summer, and it started kind of running hot. And you C6 guys will know this. First thing I personally checked was my fan connector. Gave it a little wiggle, fan came on full blast, temperature started coming right back down. Very common issue on the C6 is the fan connector melts, which makes the fan not come on. And in August, when you've got a high compression or twin turbo, in this case Z06 running, it's gonna get hot. So didn't want to drive it like that, so it's basically been parked for needing a fan connector, and I can show you what that looks like. So here's your fan connector right down here, and it's typically the one right in the middle there. That's the ground connection, hence the black wire there, and that is usually the one that melts, and you can kind of jiggle it sometimes, get continuity back, and you can get it to work. So the solution is either to replace the connector. There's some cheap ones on eBay. A lot of guys will hardwire it. I picked a third option, I guess, because the cheap eBay ones, the wire gauge is not enough. It's probably even worse than OEM. I found the original Delphi connectors, brand new terminal, seals, locks, everything in a kit. I think it was eBay, $6. You know, I'm sure that hardwiring the fan would fix this issue, but, you know, and that's what a lot of guys do. And if this fails, then I'll probably just do that. But for $6, I wanted to try it. If you hardwire the fan, obviously if you ever need to remove the fan for any reason, you're cutting it out and then re-crimping it or soldering it back in, which, I don't know. This car is now, it's 2008. It's 14 years old. Is that math right? Yep, 14 years old. If I can get another 14 years out of another $6 fan connector, that's fine with me. I'm going to zip this fan connector in, and then we'll talk about what else we got going on for this car. Working. All right, so we fired this thing up, forced the air conditioning on, which if you guys didn't know, when you turn the air conditioning on, and I think almost every car kind of forces the fan to run because of the additional cooling needed when you have the air conditioning on. So even if the car's not up to temp, force the fan on. In our case, it works just fine. We'll obviously continue to test it, as we drive, but as of right now, pretty easy swap. Brand new connectors, terminals, seals, everything. And here's the ground terminal I was talking about. Thing is just toasted. melted together. That's why you'd wiggle it. Sometimes it would work, but for $6, I'm pretty happy with that. See how long it lasts, but let's get into the next thing that I want to do on this thing while it's up in the air. Getting this thing in the air is a pain in this lift because it's so low. I got to drive it onto blocks, jack it up at both ends, and then put the lifting arms under it and bring it up. It's an ordeal. So we're going to get some stuff done while we're in here.
A few moments later.
All right, so obviously we got the new Weld drag pack on this car. Looks awesome, but at least one person in the last video noticed they're a little bit sunk in. And that's because this car has, it's called the ZR06X Super Vets rear fenders. So they're 1.5 inches wider than the OEM Z06 rear fenders. Car's a little dirty right now, so you'll have to excuse that. But you know, you guys who are familiar with the C6 Z06 will be able to tell that that's a little bit more aggressive. Probably one of my favorite parts of the car. It's one of the first things I did when I bought it. It's up in the air now, but it looks really aggressive when it's on the ground. But I mean, that wheel is just really tucked in there. So my custom 3-piece street wheels, which are right over there and up on the wall, are custom built for this wide body. So they're perfectly flush, looks good. But they were like $8,000. And you can get another custom set of welds built for this car, probably for about the same price. But I really didn't want to have, you know, 16 grand wrapped up just in wheels that will only fit this car. Fronts are still OEM Z06 quarter panels. Fenders rather. So I'm gonna try something else. I've ordered these obviously in standard Z06 fitment, which is why they're tucked in a little bit. And I've got some wheel spacers here. I went with 1 inch because I got a 1.5 inch one and did some mock-up, and the tire was basically on this fender. And the last thing I want to do is have this you know, this thing come up in here and crack my rear quarters. That would be bad. So I think with a 1 inch, when the tire comes up, you know, when we're getting traction, I think it'll just barely tuck up in there, which would be ideal. It'll look much better, it'll fill the wheel well better, but it won't destroy the rear quarter if we, you know, get into some boost, hook up, and tire comes up here. You know, do have some concerns with running wheel spacers, so obviously we're running a high quality, hub-centric, you know, T6000 series aluminum billet. So nice piece from Amazon, you know, so there's no getting around. It's probably made in China, but it is a nice piece of aluminum. What I don't trust, even though it says they're, what, 10.9 grade bolts, is these studs. And it, again, you know, it'd probably be a worthwhile upgrade on a car that makes, you know, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 horsepower like this one, is the factory wheel studs. So my plan here is we're gonna put ARP studs on the stock hubs and also ARP studs in the wheel studs. So we'll have ARP studs on ARP studs with a billet wheel spacer. You guys that know wheel spacers, the weight of the car is basically supported by this hub right here. And the lateral acceleration is on the lugs. So both of those are super strong. We should have a setup that's just as strong, if not stronger than stock. So I've got, these are the ones for the car. The ones for the wheel spacers are down with my press. But basically, need to get these wheel spacers on, get the studs in the car. Studs going in the car is what's going to take a while. I believe we have to take this whole hub assembly out, drop the knuckle from the axle, all that good stuff to get these in, because I'm going to have to remove them, bring them down my press, and press all these in. So without further ado, let's get to work. This is probably going to take, you know, with my schedule, it's probably going to drag into a couple days, but I'll bring you guys along for the ride. Let's get these things in there, get the wheel or the studs pressed into the wheel spacers as well. Get these wheels out where they need to be and get this thing looking right. All right, made some progress. The old Harbor Freight 20-ton press made easy work of this job. 20 ARP studs pressed in, 20 of the original GM, and 20, these are actually for a Lexus, I think, but it's the right size to be pressed into this wheel spacer. All the original ones are here. They're all in good shape, but I think this is going to give us much better peace of mind in a high horsepower car. So let's get right back to work. Let's get these hubs back in the car, and then we'll get these on and get the wheels back on. Alrighty guys, knocked out the ARP studs. Looks fantastic. Knuckles all back on. Like every job, the learning curve on this was crazy. It took me a decent amount of time to take it apart, and then by the time I got to the second side, putting it back together, it took like 5 minutes. Really not that bad. Done on this side too, looking good. We might have to cut these down, you know, when I put my street wheels back on, because these are a little bit too long to probably use my nice black closed lug nuts, but for now I think we'll leave them long. But damn, it's a lot of ARP studs. Yo dog, heard you like ARP studs, so we put ARP studs on your ARP studs. So obviously we'll bolt these in, and then the wheel will bolt to this. Nice hub-centric spacer, all good quality ARP hardware all around. This should be even stronger than factory. Really glad we did this. So let's get these wheels bolted up. And then I have a small coolant leak. I think I have to tighten a hose clamp up front. I'm going to take care of while this thing's still in the air. And we'll get it down and take it for a drive. Can't hear that. Fan is absolutely ripping. We got this thing up to temp. Seems like everything's good. No leak. I think I fixed the leaks that I had. We'll take it for a drive and confirm, but let's get this thing down and see how these studs and wheels and tires and everything else does. Oh yeah. Much more flush. Looks way better. Woo! All right, let's get this thing outside. I apologize. It's getting a little dark, but we're out here going for a rip. Everything seems good. No vibrations, no lights on the dash or anything like that. I'm just gonna bomb this thing around a little bit, make sure everything seemed good, and then I'll take you guys for another ride tomorrow when it's lighter out. You're not gonna be able to see anything, but so far so good. The wheels look awesome, nice and flush. I think we nailed it. But catch you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, it has been weeks since I've filmed anything with this car, but just been busy with other projects. The E63, the 69 Camaro, but car's been driving great. I've been taking it around, you know, did some highway runs, even put the smackdown on a V10 R8 a week or so ago, but haven't really been filming for it just because I've been kind of driving this thing around, but yeah, wanted to bring you guys along for a quick ride. The wheel spacers are doing awesome. You know, smooth as butter on the highway, no vibrations, no issues at all yet. The fitment is perfect. It looks awesome. So yeah, let's just get this thing out on the highway, do a couple pulls, and see what happens. Shift on the 3.4 and that fireball, that was loud. I can only imagine what the Ford Explorer next to me thought. Woo! What we got? 16 pounds of boost. I was probably in fourth gear. I didn't log that pull, but man, these tires are a game changer. This thing just, woo! And that was fun. But yeah, I mean, 75 miles an hour right now. No hands on the wheel, smooth as butter. Safe to say that our wheel spacers and our ARP stud project, success. Also, coolant temperature, 196 degrees, just like it always is, so fan connector's good. And I haven't noticed any other oil leaks in the garage, so I think our oil leak's good to go too. So got to shoot a fireball 3 feet long. All right, that's enough of that. That was fun. So yeah, back at the garage here, guys. This thing's a blast. It's been an awesome time building it. Those of you guys who've been here since the start of the builds, hope you've enjoyed it thus far. 1200 horsepower street car. I mean, I took it to go get groceries yesterday. I take it to work once in a while. Heat, air conditioning, all that good stuff. Heated seats, XM radio, it's got it all. Easily the fastest thing I've ever been in or driven. And it's cool because it's mine and I built it right here in this garage. Wheel studs project worked perfectly. They look awesome. Fitment, absolutely spot on. Fixed our cooling fan, fixed the coolant leak and an oil leak. This thing is ready to go. Right now I've got it on about 16 PSI in 4th gear. On the dyno we had it almost up at 21. So there's more left in this thing, but it is an absolute animal as is. So we'll be turning it up here in fall. It's finally starting to get a little bit cooler out. That's one of the reasons why I didn't drive it so much this summer, was because it was so damn hot. But now it's cooling down a little bit. It's more fun to drive. Got a couple more goodies in store for this thing. We're definitely going to be turning up the boost, maybe even hitting the track, try and get some outside footage for you guys. But that's going to do it for this video. Catch you guys in the next one.